So, you want to draw portraits, but you don't know where to start? It's very good that you're here, because today I want to show a method to you that I personally learned with how to draw portraits, and I hope that it will help you as well. It is a method that works with a few basic shapes and lines so that it is very easily understandable for both beginner and advanced artists. Plus, it makes you understand how to construct a head in different angles. Sounds amazing, right? What I am exactly talking about is the Loomis method. Chances are that you have already heard about that, since it is a very popular method in the art world. It was invented by a man called Andrew Loomis, who was an American illustrator, art instructor and author, and even though he died in 1959 already, his books and methods are still very influential and teach drawing to art enthusiasts. Sounds like it's worth taking a closer look to the whole thing. Before we start with the video though, I would like to quickly mention links in the description, which I would highly recommend you take a look at. There you will find a free online PDF of Loomis Book Drawing the Head and Hands, where the method of this video is from. And the second link will bring you to my Gumroad, where you can buy a PDF that I have exclusively created for this video. It is a guide about drawing portraits with over 30 pages in which I summarize the Loomis method for you to read and work with step by step. I have also included some exercises and references in there that you can practice with, so if you're interested in really practicing this method and this video is not enough, maybe consider buying my PDF for only $4.99 and support me with it. I would be very thankful. But busy, what is the Loomis method? That is the real important question. The Loomis method involves working with basic shapes, lines and planes to construct the head and then incorporate the individual face features. We will only look at the basic face construction in this video, but if you are interested in a video about the face features, just let me know in the comments and I will do a follow-up video on that. But I think that understanding the head construction first, before drawing all of the face features, is very important. It gives you a feeling of the proportions of a head and where everything has to be, and it also makes it possible for you to draw the head in a variety of angles. But what shapes am I exactly talking about here? Let's take a look at that. The first important underlying shape of a head, according to the method, is a sphere that is cut off on the sides where the ears are, because the head is not completely round. While you can see the curve of the head very well in the profile view, you can see the straight sides particularly well in the frontal view, where you cut them off of the sphere. In the side profile, these cut-off areas are marked by a circle. In the perspectives between frontal and profile views, this circle changes to an ellipse depending on how much you turn your head, as you can see here. This sphere covers the area from the top of the skull to approximately the mouth, and the cut-off areas extend from the level of the hairline to the tip of the nose, to have some measurements here. Now, of course, the chin area is still missing, which is a blocky shape on the bottom side of the sphere, but we will get to that in a minute. First, I would like to explain what you can do with this first shape we created, because there are a lot of things. By the way, I recommend that you start to work with reference photos to which you apply the Loomis method in order to understand and internalize the structure of the head. Later, you can easily draw heads from imagination with this. Let's look at this example. We bisect the sphere at the level of the eyebrows and note that this bisector must slope in the curve of the sphere, but is straight on the cut-off sides. We call this line the brow line. If we now also bisect the sphere vertically by the so-called middle line along the axis of symmetry of the face, a cross is created that shows us the direction of view and inclination of the head. A note here as well. The axis of symmetry is in the middle of the sphere in the frontal view, as you can see both halves of the face in equal parts. In a rotated view it shifts more to one side or the other, and in the profile view it is at the very edge of the sphere, because you can only see half of the face. The middle line runs in an arc at the upper edge of the sphere, that is the top of the skull, but downwards it is extended by a straight line towards the chin. I think the shape of a face can already be guessed at this step. Now let's take a quick look at what we are at this point. We have a sphere with cut-off sides, a horizontal and vertical bisector which show us the direction of view and inclination of the head, the height of the eyebrows, and how much of the respective halves of the face we can see. That is a lot of information that we get from just a few lines and basic shapes. The magic of the Loomis method. And now just add a few more lines and we have a head construction.
Don't worry, I will show you step by step how to do that using a few examples. And fortunately we also have the explanatory PDF that you can find down in the description box.
But let's move on. We now bisect the circle or the ellipse on the sides of the sphere by drawing a parallel line to the middle line. This gives us 4 quarter pieces on the sides, and the ear is located in the back of the bottom tube, by the way. From the intersection of the 2 lines, we draw an arc that runs over the cheekbones to the chin. With a 3/4 view of the head, the rear arc is a bit tricky to construct and requires some spatial understanding. Now all you need are a few planes and lines to find the proportions. You should always consider the individual reference, however, there is a rule of thumb to follow, which is called the rule of thirds. With this, you take the distance between the eyebrow and hairline and apply it downwards 2 more times. The first line shows us where the nose is, the second where the chin ends. As I said, these proportions are individual for each face we draw. If you now extend the bisector from before slightly downwards and connect it from here with the arches, you get the lines of the jaw. By connecting the intersection lines of the cheekbones with the circle or ellipse, you get the area in which the eyes lie. From here, the basic shape of a head was successfully constructed. Congratulations! It was really easy, right? But don't worry, if this was too quick for you, here's another example that you can follow along. Number 1. Draw a sphere along the curve of the skull. Number 2. Depending on the angle of the head, draw a circle or an ellipse, or just 2 straight lines in the frontal view where the ears are and the sphere is cut off. Number 3. Find the brow line which bisects the sphere horizontally. Number 4. Bisect the sphere along the axis of symmetry of the face. Number 5. Draw a bisecting line parallel to the axis of symmetry within the circle or ellipse on the side. Number 6. Draw an arc from the intersection points at the sides along the cheekbones towards the chin. Number 7. Apply the rule of thirds. Number 8. Extend the bisector of the circle or ellipse and connect it to the chin. And number 9. Connect the intersections the cheek lines created to get the eye area. Understanding these points is not too difficult, and the application will certainly work quite well after a few tries, but that is the key. Practice, practice, practice. If you stick with it, this method will soon become second nature to you and you will need less and less lines to construct a head. Over time, dare to move on to more challenging perspectives because this method is applicable to all of them. But notice if you have a top or bottom view of the head, there are shortenings of the rule of thirds which can be confusing at first. However, the best way to learn these is to work with appropriate references and look at them closely. Here's an example of that. You can see that the Loomis method can still be used here, but the thirds are not divided equally as they are in frontal views. This division is different for each inclination, which is why I can't give you any exact rules for this, but can only recommend that you look and measure at the references carefully. And here's also another tip for practicing. If you are a complete beginner in drawing, especially in the portrait area, don't start wanting to put the Loomis method directly on paper. I recommend that you either print out references images with low opacity or work with them in a drawing program to draw over them. First, find the shapes and lines directly on the picture and internalize where they are. Then you can trace these basic shapes and lines again and get a feel for how the method works. I hope that this short video gave you a good insight into the Loomis method and that it helps you drawing portraits yourself. Please tell me in the comments if you are interested in seeing a video on the individual face features, and I will post a video on it soon. Now I wish you a lot of fun and success with your own drawing process. Remember that in the description box you can find my PDF on the topic to practice and have all this information collected in one spot to read through again. And you can also read Enroll Loomis book on this method, drawing the head and hands, for free online, and you will find the link in the description box as well. And now, Bean, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're well. I hope that you stay creative. See you in one of my next videos.